All right. Welcome back. I am bringing back the interneting today because I just saw something and I could not pass it without discussing it. And I had no idea, but apparently there's this thing called the Chromebook challenge. I did not know it was a thing. Maybe you did. Let me know. But apparently, some teenagers are lighting up their school laptops and then they're posting it online because, of course, it's recorded, right? Like it's some kind of badge of honor. Am I surprised? Not really. Are you surprised? I don't know. I think teens have always done wild things. The only difference today is that we get to see all of it because it's recorded and posted and rewarded with views. But it's this one, it just got me thinking again and again about us, you, me, that is witnessing all of this. Maybe you're the young person doing this challenge. So I want to talk about all of that: parenting, this trend, influence, the role we all, and I mean all of us, you, me, your friends, your family, all of us have a role to play here. And so, you know what? As always, hear me out. It's just a thought. Okay, so if it is your first time here, let me introduce myself. My name is Gigi. This is the Hear Me Out, Just a Thought podcast. It's really a space where we talk about whatever is going on. We talk about life and faith and culture, everything in between. Sometimes we have fun with whatever is going on the internet, like today. And by fun, I mean we kind of see what kind of wisdom we can pull out of it and apply. That's fun to me. Always a little wisdom and a lot of heart. So, of course, if you're someone who cares, you clicked about this because maybe you care about the next generation, maybe you are the next generation, or you just care about making sense of the world we're living in, it is the place for you. Stick around, click subscribe so we can stick together. Now, this challenge, the Chromebook challenge, again, I learned today that this was going on. I know I say that I do the interneting, and I am on the internet quite a lot, but TikTok not so much, and it seems to be a TikTok thing. So, let me know if you know about this. At first, I think, of course, it might sound like just another dumb internet trend, pardon me the language, but it is what we call it typically. But I think really if we take a minute and sit on this, it's part of a much bigger picture, which is why I picked it up for today. Young people doing risky things is not new. Like I said, we as teens, we've been young, right? Teens have been sneaking out and jumping off of roofs and playing with fire literally for generations. I remember when I was young, I was not the most reckless child, but I was also not the nicest little. I saw some things, okay? I'll say it like that. And so the key difference, like I mentioned, is that now it's not just a story that they tell years later among their group. It's now a post and a trend, and we get to witness all of it, and it's a challenge, right? It's more than a thing that happens in one corner of the world or one corner of your country or your neighborhood. It's a challenge that goes viral online. And so every child, it shouldn't really, but every child or teenager or young adult that has access to social media or a phone, which is most, they can see this and replicate it. And so that changes things. Because when I think that this is my position, of course, when you mix our youthful impulses with the pressure to perform for likes, which is new now, the pressure to perform for likes and views, that's when we get moments like this. That's when we get dangerous and destructive and sadly not shocking moments like these. And so here's what really gets me, and here's where I want your ear on, and of course your comments on. We used to say back in the day, it takes a village to raise a child. And that was not, just like feel good wisdom. It was how communities actually functioned. Everyone had a role in teaching, in correcting, in guiding. yes, there's bad sides of, the village, quote unquote, raising your child, but there's also good sides, because if we were busy, if our kids was in the streets playing, if we left the kid at grandma's, if they were in school, if they were at the restaurant, at the park, at the arcades, wherever, and we knew that grown adults were responsible and concerned and wanted to be good influence, anybody could kind of discipline, in the good way, of course, discipline our child. I'm not saying that because I didn't have children back then, but I was a child, and I remember every adult to me was an authority. Every adult could tell me, don't do that, do this, and it was sound advice. I remember a time like that where people gave sound advice, sound recommendations, good discipline, not violent discipline, but good discipline. And so the village was necessary. Somewhere along the way, we stopped being the village, and I'm calling all of us out. We stopped being the village. We kind of now say, you know what, the parents are responsible for this, which is the truth, but we kind of scroll past and we repost and send to our friends and our neighbors and our spouses and whatever to critique, right? To critique from the sidelines. And I think we need to stop here and remember that what kids, and I include teenagers in there, need is not necessarily more judgment, but it's more guidance. Because if we're honest with ourselves, we've been dumb. I've been dumb. I've never done, like I said, crazy, dangerous things, but I have done things that I can now look back and think, if somebody had sat me down to be a good influence, or if I had seen an adult be a good influence in this area of my life, positive influence close to me, not just an authority, but an influence, like I said, I might not have gone down that path. And I can also pinpoint to things that I didn't do, especially in high school and the beginning of college life, because I had cool, like really good and cool role models to look at and be like, I don't need to do that. And so I know that guidance is necessary and has a really, really big impact, even when teenagers kind of show us that they don't listen, they still watch, children as well. And so I want to set a personal challenge for each person that is hearing this. Again, you might even be the teenager, you might even be the young adult taking part in, weird, dangerous challenges. All right, that's okay. You're welcome here. But whether you are a parent or an auntie or an uncle, a coach, a youth worker, maybe you play some sports with young people down your street or at a center, just a young adult who is around younger people, I want us to remember all that we are influencers. Like we are influencers. People watch us, kids watch us, teenagers watch us, and those younger people, they're watching how we respond to things, how we respond to bigger things like stress and work, treating other people, but also how we handle maturity, how we handle trends, how we react to things, how we live, really. We are all influencers. It's not just the person on social media, on YouTube, on TV that influences your children or your nephews or your younger cousins or your students. It's all of us. And so I want to call us to try something new, something just a refresh. Instead of asking what's wrong with these kids these days, maybe we should just be asking, hey, where are the adults that they can count on? And look in the mirror, right? I will reassess this. We have all been young. We've all done things that did not make sense until we grew up. And a young brain is not fully developed. A young brain needs the validation from friends to feel like they belong somewhere, to feel like they're cool and accepted. And that's why they do trends like this, because they think it's funny or because they think it's cool or for likes or this or that. We all understand the why behind it. It's just that we forget that their brains are not fully developed and that we were like that at some point. So I want to remind us that, when we are immature, meaning our brains are not mature enough. We need mature brains to be an influence to us. And this is just the path of life. We know that, for example, I'm going to reference the Bible, when we know that in 1 Corinthians we're taught that when I was a child, I spoke like a child, I thought like a child, I reasoned like a child, but then I became a man, I gave up childish ways. So this is just a way to say children do children things, teens do teens things, adults, you leave behind the childish things as you grow up. And so we also need to help sometimes be an influence for the younger people. And I'm going to put a note here, if you're just arriving on this channel, you have no idea how I just went from talking about burning laptops to the Bible. I am of the opinion that every good advice we get, every good thing that comes out of life, every good action that you can take, the wisdom is already provided in the Bible. There are other books, other resources for sure that we can use to grow up and be better people, but I think the original source, which is the Bible, has it all. So I will share a lot of Bible wisdom, because I think it's applicable to everyday life. That's that. So I guess here's the truth. Giving up childish ways, it doesn't just happen. It is modeled, okay? It is modeled and it is taught, and it's shaped, and it's shaped by other people and the culture we live in, and us, you, me, like I said, anybody who's in contact with the youth and with small children. And so there's a better way. Yes, we can look at these videos and ask, what's wrong with you people? Who raised you, as we say, right? Who raised you? But this is not about blaming the kids or the teenagers. It's also about building them. I hate to just come on the internet, open up my podcast and say what's wrong. I like to offer solutions. I like to offer alternatives to ways of living that we have today. So we can't control everything that a teen or a kid will see online. We can try, and you should try, but you can't control everything. We can't always be there when they are scrolling or when they are in school being, tempted by whatever, not intelligent thing is being proposed that day. But we can help shape the lens, okay, through which they view the world. We can teach them to value things like responsibility, like understanding consequences, like respecting property. These laptops are not even theirs. They're given by the school. I guess for the time of the school year, they're given by the school. So respecting property, thinking before they act, and we can talk to them about why these rules exist, not to ruin their fun or their life, because we know when you're a teenager, whatever your parents say is uncool automatically. It's looking like you're being disciplined all the time, but sometimes we just have to do that to protect their future. So we have to volunteer ourselves and be the influencers in a good way. We actually have to bring back being an influencer a cool thing for our children, for our nephews and nieces and neighbors and sports team cameras, whatever you want to call that. Here's my encouragement. Let's be the village. Let's bring back the village. I know we live in cities we're not necessarily a village, but let's bring back the village. Let's be a safe space. Again, I'm not a fan of this word, but I have to use it because people understand what it is. Let's be the voice of reason. Let's be the example that they didn't know they needed. And it takes for that us to approach, it's going to sound funny, but to approach kids, approach the youth, meaning to be close to them, not just to show up when it's time to discipline, but to spend time with our kids, spend time with the family, spend time with the neighbor. Like when you're walking down your street and there's kids playing, say hello, because you'll see them often and they will create that rapport with you. Don't let, and I had to learn this myself, I am a parent, so don't let the internet raise our kids or anyone else's kids. Like I said, we focus on our family and kids. Don't let the internet raise anyone else's kids. Let's show up. Let's say something. Let's be cool. Let's be people that they remember as a good influence when they grow up. Think of somebody that when you were like 8 and 10 and 15 and 17, can you think of anybody who you can remember being a good influence to you? They were cool, but they were also conscious of things. They were cool, but they were also responsible. They were cool, but they also respected other people. Can you pinpoint who that was in your life? And if you did have them, can you be that person now? If you did not have them, can you imagine if you had that person in your life? So let's be the village. And if you have younger kids in your life, it's the best time to start. The Bible teaches us that when you train up a child the way they should go, they will not depart from it when they're adults. And they might have a period of time where they don't like you very much. They think whatever you're teaching them is boring or stupid. But most kids who've had wisdom growing up in principles and rules and ethics, they grow up to be adults who come back home. And so it's the best time to start when they're young, by teaching them simple lessons, simple truths that they can understand and apply, not forcing them on anything, just teaching. We're teachers, we're influencers. And it can be done via you reading the Bible and explaining things to them. It can be done via finding the right shows to make them watch with you, emphasis on with you. It can be done with books. I always talk about how I felt the need to write a book. It's a very simple book, but I felt the need to write a book that I could read with my children. I want my children to be able to read things and discuss them with me. I don't care that I had to write it. It's there. It exists. I made it. And I always say, if you want to encourage me, go ahead and get that book. But it could also be your words, your stuff, right? You need to teach children the truth. You need to teach teenagers the truth. And it's even better if you can provide them with resources that speak their language, that they can read. Reading is so important. I'm going to go on a tangent because I'm passionate about this, but reading is important for any kid to develop, any teenager to develop their brain, because once you know how to read and you enjoy reading, you can access more information and you rely less on just word of mouth, and you can be less influenced. It's just, I'll talk about it another time because I can go on a tangent. So anyway, that's why I wrote a book for my kids, but I rendered it available. It's called The Little Book of Big Thoughts for Kids, mostly under 10. I think that's where it should happen, where this influencing should happen. It's full of, simple lessons that I think are easy to understand. So I will put it at the end of the episode and at the bottom in the description box for you to see if you're interested in getting that. But like I said, just plant the seeds, use whatever resources you need, trust God with the growth, rely on God, rely on God's wisdom, seek God's wisdom. Like I mentioned on every episode, if you've never opened a Bible a day in your life, that's fine. Start today. Go to the book of Proverbs. That's where I think you could start. Read the Gospels and understand what is this thing? What is this book? What is it talking about? Why should I care in order to live my life? What does it have to do with a laptop burning challenge? Everything. My answer is it has everything to do with a laptop burning challenge. So, what are your thoughts on this? If this made you think, share with us what thoughts you're having. This channel is called Hear Me Out. It's just a thought, but it could also be called, let me listen about your thoughts. So if it made you think, if it made you want to do better, pass it on, send it to somebody who needs to hear it. And of course, thank you for spending time with me today. I think we need to be the adults that this generation needs, and it starts with us having small meetings like this, one thought at a time. Thank you, and I will see you.
What if your child's next breakthrough is just a page away? Introducing The Little Book of Big Thoughts. This gem is packed with 25 engaging lessons that spark curiosity and build wisdom for kids ages 5 to 10. From kindness to courage to authenticity and boldness, everything is in there. Perfect for bedtime, learning time, or any time. Give your kids the gift of wisdom today. Available now on Amazon.